Welcome to the cosmos of leadership. In Chapter 1, we introduce Galileo Galilei, the mathematician, astronomer, and vision carrier who transformed how we think about wisdom in the modern age. His early life in Pisa was marked by curiosity, a willingness to question authority, and a heart that sought truth in observation rather than doctrine. When I talk about wisdom and leadership, I look at Galileo as a person who learned that true wisdom comes from asking the right questions, resisting complacency, and acting with courage. The story of his first observation with a telescope is a clear illustration. In 1609, Galileo turned a simple refractor toward the heavens and saw that the moon was not a perfect sphere, but a rugged world full of craters. He was not afraid to challenge the accepted view of a perfect celestial sphere. This moment demonstrated a core principle of leadership: the courage to confront the status quo when evidence demands it. I encourage you to reflect. Are you bold enough to question the commonly accepted wisdom in your workplace? Another memorable episode was his imprisonment in the years 1630–1635, after the conclave censored his heliocentric ideas. Instead of yielding to fear, Galileo spent those years polishing his mechanical inventions and developing a new perspective on time and motion. His leadership style was not about commanding others from the throne of fear. It was about using adversity to refine his ideas and continue to inspire. The lesson for us: transform challenges into creativity. The conclusion of Chapter 1 reminds us that Galileo's wisdom was rooted in humble observation, relentless questioning, and an unwavering commitment to reason. I encourage you to embody these traits. Like, share, and subscribe if you enjoy this exploration, because each of us can learn to lead with curiosity and resilience. Reflective question: in what ways does your current pursuit of knowledge push you beyond conventional wisdom into new leadership territories? The Path Forward, a concise title for this chapter, embrace the unknown. The second chapter, the building blocks of Galileo's wisdom for leadership. Our next look is to distill from Galileo's life 4 key principles that illuminate how to lead. Each principle is a lens that we can apply to personal growth and modern team dynamics. Principle 1: evidence over doctrine. Galileo believed that facts, not beliefs, should guide decisions. When working in a team, he would emphasize data, experimentation, and peer review over hierarchy or tradition. How does this manifest today? Consider a project where data contradicts a senior leader's intuition. Galileo would advise collecting proof, performing controlled tests, and presenting results transparently. This principle cultivates respect and trust in a team. Principle 2: iterative learning. His invention of the thermoscope, a rudimentary thermometer, was the result of iterative design and observation. I encourage you to model this in work. Prototype, measure, refine, repeat. A small experiment can reveal big insights about user behavior or operational bottlenecks. This iterative cycle is leadership in action, learning from failures and improving rapidly. Principle 3: communication across disciplines. Galileo famously wrote to his friend and intellectual mentor, Levin, bridging mathematics, physics, and philosophy. If you want to lead effectively, don't silo yourself. Bring together diverse perspectives. Set up cross-functional councils or informal knowledge cafes where people can share ideas freely. This cultivates innovation and strengthens team cohesion. Principle 4: ethical responsibility. Galileo faced severe repercussions for his ideas, yet he did not abandon them because they were wrong. He chose to stay true to the evidence and uphold the duty to society. As a leader, this reminds us that integrity matters more than short-term approval. When decisions have societal impact, weigh ethics first. Create frameworks that ask, how will this affect our community? Alongside profits. Conclusion: practice these principles by asking, what evidence can I gather? What small experiment will reveal a larger truth? Who else can tell me something I don't know? Does this decision align with our core values? Each question keeps the mind in motion, a hallmark of a wise leader. Please like, share, and subscribe as we continue the journey of discovering leadership wisdom. Reflective question: which of these 4 principles resonates most with your current leadership challenges, and how can you apply it today to foster evidence-driven decisions? The next chapter calls Turning Theory into Action. Chapter 3: Galileo's day-to-day leadership in practice. Now that we know what the principles are, Let's see how Galileo put them into practice while navigating the complex world of 17th century courts and academies. Scenario 1, the laboratory of the Palazzo. Galileo treated his workshop like a small, self-contained society where every tool, every measurement, and every observation mattered. He established systematic protocols. He would note the exact angle, the temperature, the observer's position. In modern terms, he was a meticulous data steward. Translate this to your office. Make clear protocols for handling data, ensure documentation is complete, and assign accountability for data integrity. The result: a team that does not lose trust when results are shared. Scenario 2, teaching a cohort of apprentices. Galileo was not a mere lecturer. He made his students conduct experiments. He challenged them with problems, let them fail, and then guided them to the correct inference. This mentorship model turns knowledge into competence. As a leader, you can replicate this by delegating ownership, providing autonomy, and stepping in only when guidance is required. This fosters growth and confidence. Scenario 3, the controversy over the heliocentric model. Galileo confronted the church by presenting evidence through a public debate. He did not use rhetoric or intimidation. He used clear data displayed in a small model of the solar system. He also wrote letters to lay audiences, simplifying complex physics into relatable analogies. Today, when confronting powerful stakeholders, craft clear, evidence-based narratives. Use visuals, metaphors, and simple language to make your case understandable. Scenario 4, resilience under persecution. Galileo's choice to write an anonymous letter to his father, explaining his situation, shows the importance of communication in crisis. He kept his resolve while protecting his family. As a leader, communication during turbulent times matters. Keep stakeholders informed, acknowledge uncertainty, and maintain transparency. Doing so builds trust and reduces panic. Conclusion: Galileo's leadership was rooted in systematic thinking, hands-on mentoring, evidence-based persuasion, and resilient communication. He exemplified that a wise leader is both a scientist and a steward. Like, share, and subscribe if you found this deep dive useful. Remember, the journey to wise leadership is ongoing. Reflective question: which of Galileo's day-to-day practices could you incorporate into your own professional routine to reinforce evidence, mentorship, or resilience? Forward, we turn to modern relevance. Chapter 4, applying Galileo's wisdom today for personal growth and success. Now let's make the abstract concrete. How can a high school student or a startup founder harness Galileo's 4 pillars of wisdom in ordinary business or personal settings? Practical example 1, evidence over doctrine in personal development. Imagine choosing a fitness plan solely based on a popular social media challenge. Instead, gather evidence, review scientific studies, calculate your baseline fitness, set smart metrics. Test a short routine, track heart rate, sleep quality, and satisfaction. Iterate until the routine is optimal. This mirrors Galileo's data-driven approach. Practical example 2, iterative learning in product design. A tech startup can mimic Galileo's thermoscope by building a minimal viable product, MVP. Launch it to a small user group, collect usage metrics, gather feedback, and refine the prototype. Repeat. This leads to rapid improvements and ensures the final product aligns with real needs. Practical example 3, interdisciplinary communication in a marketing team. A copywriter could take a science-based insight, say, how storytelling increases recall, and collaborate with the design team to create immersive campaigns. Regular cross-disciplinary meetings produce richer ideas than isolated brainstorms. Practical example 4, ethical responsibility in corporate culture. A multinational corporation might face a dilemma about outsourcing labor to a country with low living wages. Applying Galileo's principle suggests assessing ethical impacts first. Consult employees, evaluate supply chain transparency, and develop a plan that protects both profit and people. Ethical stewardship fosters long-term success and reputation. Conclusion: embedding these practices into everyday life requires a mindset shift, from reaction to curiosity, from authority to collaboration, and from rhetoric to evidence. The core takeaway is that wise leadership is a continuous, evidence-driven practice that thrives on learning, communication, and integrity. Please like, share, and subscribe as you commit to transforming your daily habits into steps toward wise leadership. Reflective question: which modern challenge in your life can you address by collecting evidence, iterating, collaborating across disciplines, and maintaining ethical clarity? The final part arrives, a call to carry wisdom forward. Chapter 5, Charting the Future with Galilean Wisdom. We have journeyed from the early curiosity of a young Pisa pupil to the modern practices that echo Galileo's brilliance. What remains for us to improve? Key takeaway 5. Self-reflection is the engine of growth. Galileo did not rest after the telescope's invention. He continued to read, to question, to experiment. Your personal growth hinges on continuous curiosity. Set aside time each week for journaling, reading beyond your field, and asking why for every routine. Another takeaway: risk is inevitable. Wise leadership balances courage with prudence. Galileo embraced risk by challenging the church, but he also mitigated it by publishing his findings in incremental steps. In your work, don't wait for perfect certainty. Take calculated risks, learn quickly, and bounce back. Final thought: share your insights. Leadership is a two-way street. Just as Galileo disseminated his findings through letters and public lectures, modern leaders must openly share lessons, failures, and successes. That openness attracts talent, builds trust, and accelerates collective wisdom. In closing, remember, wisdom is not a destination but a process, one of questioning, testing, learning, and leading with integrity. Every day offers you a chance to adopt Galilean habits: observe keenly, act boldly, adapt rapidly, and communicate ethically. As you do, your leadership will evolve and your impact will magnify. To conclude this motivational journey, like, share, and subscribe. You are part of a community that seeks to bring ancient wisdom into contemporary triumph. Reflective question: how will you put Galilean wisdom into practice this week? And what measurable change can you expect in your leadership trajectory?